Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jake. We are back with a brand new video. Rolling. So the Jurassic World Rebirth trailer has just been released 2 days ago, and I'm sorry I couldn't get it out then. I was taking a break actually from my phone and YouTube pretty much as a whole. However, I wanted to do this and hopefully get this to you guys sometime tomorrow or Sunday. As I have a very busy weekend going on. Maybe I'll even show you guys some of the things that I'm doing this weekend as to why I have a busy weekend. But this is something I need to do because everybody else is doing it, so of course we gotta jump on the bandwagon. So hopefully, if I've done this right, and sorry for the camera shaking a lot, the way I've got this set up is I've got a ring light right in front of me with a tripod set up too, so if I move my foot, the camera shakes. So we will try this setup. I have never done this before. So what I've got in front of you guys right now, hopefully assuming I haven't screwed this up, is what I've got here is a slideshow, pretty much of everything that we have. So welcome to Jurassic News, and I'm so happy that this series is back, and hopefully I'll be able to do a lot more with this series too when I get, a little kick up the ass to do it. So let's get going. So, Wednesday, sorry, because it's Friday today, so when you guys are watching this, it's either going to be 3 or 4 days. The Jurassic World Rebirth trailer came out, and I watched it, in band class, but I watched it, and my thoughts on it were kind of mixed, but, I won't spoil too much into the video, so, let's get going into this. So, what are my thoughts on the trailer? Well, first of all, I'd like to point out the fact that Scarlett Johansson has continued to not disappoint with her acting abilities. No matter what role she's given, I think she's always going to be a great actress. She did a great job, even in the Black Widow movie, where they gave her kind of a bad script, but she managed to do a really good job, just acting. And a couple of other things she's been in. I've seen her in a couple things, and she does a really good job and all that. Obviously, her most famous role is Black Widow, but this, again, she seems to be doing a really good job with that, and she has a lot of passion for this project because it's something she's wanted to do for a long time, as stated in an interview. However, the next thing, as you guys can probably see, assuming my cursor shows up, is the poor animal designs. So I have to admit, I am kind of disappointed with the way the dinosaurs look, and not just the dinosaurs. The main thing, there are 2 animals in here that I'm not overly thrilled with, and you can probably see them as another bullet point. However, these animals, they don't look like the Jurassic franchise dinosaurs. As you guys can probably see behind me, some of those animals up there have changed. Parasaurolophus has changed, Pyroraptor got feathers, which no other raptor in the entire franchise has gotten. But something just doesn't look right with the dinosaurs. Even the T-Rex looks like it's a little bit different. And you can see it right here. It doesn't look like Rexy. I mean, obviously, because it's not Rexy. It is a brand new T-Rex. We have never seen this Rex before. I think there are already some people calling it the Tiger Stripe Rex, which would make sense, obviously. It's got tiger stripes. I do like the design, but it does look a little bit like the Primal Carnage Extinction T-Rex. And you can really see that in the river scene, which we'll get to in a little bit. Another kind of complaint I have with this is it kind of tells you what the plot is already. I remember with Jurassic World Dominion, I had no idea what the plot was going to be. It threw us through a loop. It was a bad plot, but I didn't know what it was going to be. And same thing with Fallen Kingdom. Had I not known about things like Dino Protection Group, and other websites and videos that other people have posted, pretty much really deep diving into this, I probably wouldn't have known what it would have been. And Jurassic World, I was 8, so I didn't even dig into that. I was just happy we were getting a movie. But yeah, this movie kind of explains the whole plot, and I really hope I'm reading this wrong, because I've recently started watching a show where I thought I was going to be able to guess the plot, and throughout the entire of the 3 seasons that I've gotten into, I have not been able to figure out what's going to happen next, which is really good. I really hope Jurassic World Rebirth is like that, where I can't guess, unlike Dominion, where I was able to pretty much go, okay, this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen, and that's going to happen, when I was watching the movie. But during the trailer, it did throw me through a little bit of a loop. I didn't know what was going to happen, but with Rebirth, it looks pretty clear, cut, and dry, unfortunately. So one of my biggest pet peeves with the Jurassic World trilogy, and it looks like this next trilogy is going to deliver the same thing, is hybrids. One shining, glimmerous light of Dominion was that there were technically no hybrids. Now, all the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park and the entire franchise as a whole are technically hybrids, because they're not real dinosaurs. What they are is, and it explains this in Jurassic Park, is they are, most of their genome is replaced with amphibian DNA or other reptilian DNA, or even some avian DNA. So technically dinosaur DNA. But the problem with that is that they still look like dinosaurs. Like, you can still point out an InGen T-Rex and go, okay, I kind of see that. It's a T-Rex, obviously. Or an InGen Velociraptor, and if you know dinosaurs, you can go, okay, that's probably a Deinonychus or a Utahraptor. Or, obviously, everybody knows the Triceratops Porosus or Stegosaurus. But the Indominus Rex was a good hybrid. It was a good breakup from the monotony of just, oh, bigger dinosaur. Okay. Or, oh, look, another T-Rex, which I like that. In the first Jurassic World movie, it worked out fine. Fallen Kingdom, it kind of got a little old, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I didn't mind the Indoraptor, and it did bring some fear back to the Jurassic Park franchise. And then Camp Cretaceous came out with Scorpius Rex, which I did not enjoy. I found the idea of this insane, murderous, psychopathic, technically dinosaur was kind of getting old at this point. It's just the Indominus Rex redone over and over again. But with Dominion and, Chaos Theory, that didn't happen. I didn't have to see that. I just got to see dinosaurs, which is the whole reason I got into this franchise to begin with, because I love dinosaurs. I love seeing them on the big screen. It's amazing. And then Rebirth came out. So this video is coming out later than the other big dinosaur YouTubers, so odds are you've probably seen Swerves or Evil Square or the Game Beavers, or I think even Best in Slot did a couple of reviews. And everybody's talked about the D-Rex. First of all, I don't like the D-Rex, but we'll get into that later. But I'm just kind of tired of the hybrids. Can we just have dinosaurs, please? Like, just real dinosaurs. My other pet peeve with this is the Titanosaur and Quetzalcoatlus design/redesign. I think they're ugly. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And here's the biggest problem. The last point I have on my thoughts about this trailer. It's not really Jurassic Park, is it? I mean, I guess they kind of have that danger I was talking about in the last video I did, and I talked about Jurassic World Rebirth, where I wasn't really excited about it. But I will say, back when I made that, I still kind of had the feeling like it could go both ways. Like, maybe they'll return to something like the Lost World Jurassic Park. And my friend Austin, when we were watching this trailer, because we watched it together in band class, we had a study hall, okay, we weren't just messing about. He even pointed out, he goes, it's just the plot for the Lost World, right? Like, they're going to an island to do some form of research or science. And in this case, technically, he wasn't wrong. I mean, the plot is pretty much they need to go get DNA from the 3 largest prehistoric animals to cure heart disease, I think was the disease or whatever. I don't know. But In the Lost World, it's not too far off. They were going there to research and figure out why the animals are still surviving and things like that, so that Jen Hammond could get Isla Sorna turned into kind of a biological preserve. But with this movie, it does kind of seem like it's that. It seems like it's Jurassic Park, The Lost World Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park 3 spliced together with sprinkling bits of Jurassic Park and the Lost World novel on top of it with a rebranded sort of image. That's my thoughts on the trailer. I really hope I'm wrong about all the dislikes. Of course, obviously, the animal designs are concrete. They're not going to change. But I hope the story at least surprises me. I hope I'm wrong about that, because I would really like to enjoy a Jurassic Park movie for the first time since 2015. So, moving on to, oh, that's it, lag out. Animal designs. So the first bullet point here is 65. And if you guys don't know what that is, it is a movie with Adam Driver starring in it, which didn't really do that well. Putting aside the story and how everything kind of played out, I'd like to point out the animal designs. Now, me and my infinite wisdom while creating this slideshow while sitting on the toilet, I forgot to put in images of 65's dinosaurs. So here are a couple rolling across your screen right now. What you'll notice about that is there are spikes on everything, or they're kind of really lizard-like. Now, the two biggest pictures here do not reflect that, and we'll get to that in a minute. However, the second bullet point and the fourth bullet point of Titanosaur and Quetzalcoatlus, forgive me if there are any spelling mistakes in this slideshow, I did this in like 2 minutes. The Quetzalcoatlus is one of my biggest problems, but let's focus on the Titanosaur for a minute. It looks like something you would find in something like Fossil Fuel or 65, or even like an old Walking with Dinosaurs sort of a thing. Maybe like a Land Before Time sort of deal. It doesn't look like it's a Jurassic Park design. Jurassic Park sauropods have always been kind of majestic, and this thing looks like... So if the Jurassic Park Brachiosaur is like fine sculpting clay, the Titanosaur is slime, and I'm talking dollar store slime. It does not look good. The problem I have with it is those weird fins that almost make me like, it makes my skin kind of crawl a little bit. It just kind of looks disgusting. I don't know why they picked Titanosaur out of all the Titanosaurs. Probably because it's the, the founding member sort of a thing. I personally would have picked Argentinosaurus, but that's just me. But I don't know. You can see it down here. Here's an image. It just doesn't look right. But let's move on to something that I really have an issue with, and that is the Quetzalcoatlus redesign. Now, first of all, it's smaller than the one from Jurassic World Dominion, and it looks completely different. I prefer the one to Jurassic World Dominion because it looks like an animal that could have existed at least. Granted, the thing was like triple the size of the actual one, but, at least it looked real. Now, if you know anything about the Jurassic Park games, Jurassic World, the game, actually has a hybrid that looks like this new Quetzalcoatl design. And it is affectionately given the nickname by the gaming beaver of the dragon. And I forget its name, it'll fly up somewhere on screen, I'll find it somewhere. But that's what it kind of looks like, a little bit. But this is really where you can see like some form of 65 parallels, because it just doesn't look like a pterosaur. It looks like a dragon. Something just doesn't look... And I can tell the whole reason behind this is because Dominion was such a big flop in comparison to, the other two movies in the trilogy, and of course the entire franchise as a whole. I imagine they're just trying to remove every connection to that movie, which kind of sucks because the designs weren't terrible. The new Parasaurolophus design I enjoyed. The Velociraptors were hit and miss, but I didn't hate them. Pyroraptor was alright. The only thing I had a problem with in that movie was Giganotosaurus, because it was so out there. But I really did like the Quetzalcoatlus design. Another theory is that this might not even be a Quetzalcoatlus. So I've got a couple theories. One of them is that it's a smaller pterosaur altogether, and Quetzalcoatlus went extinct because, as we now know, in Jurassic World Rebirth, dinosaurs are now confined to a small part of the world along the equator, essentially where the 5 deaths were. So they'll only be alive in that area because that's where they can that's only where they can survive. Even though dinosaurs, inhabited every single continent on the planet, including Antarctica. Just look up Nanooksaurus. So I'm not too sure. Whoops! I knew this was gonna happen. I was gonna kick it eventually because I always flail my feet around. Let's fix that. Here we are. But I don't know. I don't know why they changed the design for Quetzalcoatlus. It looks nice. I really do like the old design. Albeit it did have the Jurassic treatment, so it was bigger. Its unique features were more presented, but the new design just doesn't look like an animal. Now let's get on to something that they actually did the reverse of, which is the new Mosasaur. Now this doesn't look like any Mosasaur we've ever seen in the franchise. It doesn't look like the one from Jurassic Park, the Telltale game, well, that's actually the Tylosaur, not a Mosasaur, but it's a Mosasaurid. And the Jurassic World Mosasaur, they look completely different. Those ones look a lot more crocodilian. This one looks more like a monitor lizard, which is actually what they're kind of related to. Their closest living relatives of the modern day are actually monitor lizards. So the Mosasaurus in this movie, and you guys can see a little bit of the merchandising. You can actually get this on a shirt right now on Amazon over here. And this design is so much more accurate to the real Mosasaur. And what's really cool is in the trailer, you can actually see it breach the water like kind of a great white shark would do in South Africa. And the theory is that they actually did this. Now I say theory because you can't actually prove it because you don't have a time machine. But that would be the idea the paleontologists are currently going with. Now let's talk about the biggest change, and that would be Spinosaur. Now that's the thing that's taking up the biggest part of the screen here. So I've got the Jurassic Park 3 hybrid Spinosaur because, as we know, this Spinosaur actually had a lot of genetic, I don't want to say mutations, but alterations put onto it, essentially to make it, bigger and badder than the T-Rex. And then we have this Spinosaurus down here for Rebirth. It is significantly more accurate to the real-life Spinosaurus, that being the sail is more square rather than circular, and it does have, an actual fin-like tail, which, as of right now, because Spinosaurus is ever-changing, seems to be the most paleo-accurate we've got. The hands are actually turned inwards, because dinosaurs did not have the ability to do this. They would snap their wrists to be able to do that. However, what is going on with that neck? Spinosaurus would have had a much longer, almost crane-like neck, at least theorized, because it kind of took the niche of a stork. Think of it like a big stork. And this is not giving that. The snout can be forgiven, but because of the neck, it can't be. If it had a longer neck, I feel like the snout would have been a lot more forgivable. It's weird. It's this weird thin but bulky feeling. And I don't think I particularly like it. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm not a huge fan of Spinosaurus. In fact, it's one of my least favorite dinosaurs not only because of the toxic fan base, but also because if I get asked one more time by my friends who you think would win, T-Rex or Spinosaurus, I think I'm going to smash my head on the table. It doesn't happen often that we talk about dinosaurs with my friends, but when we do, this is the only question I get asked. However, I must say I do prefer the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus for the sole purpose of it actually looks a little bit more like it could be a real animal as opposed to this genetic mess that is the Spinosaurus. I will say, though, it is rather nice that we did get to see them actually swim, because it is a very decently backed theory that they were a majority aquatic. Obviously not full aquatic, but semi-aquatic. The next couple are the Raptor, Dilophosaur, and Tyrannosaur. Now, we already kind of talked about the T-Rex, so I'm not going to really talk about it too much. It's basically your standard Jurassic Park T-Rex that looks slightly different, a little bit like Primal Carnage is. The Raptor we will get to eventually, however, it does also look like your average Jurassic Park Raptor. The Dilophosaurus has a weird thing. It is not the Jurassic Park Velociraptor, Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus, which is really weird. It's the one from Dominion. However, something doesn't add up. This is supposed to... Oh, I just realized there's a logo on this picture. Oops. Yeah, that's an eye. That is terrifying. It doesn't look like the Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus, which is a weird issue because this is supposed to be InGen's original island. Why are there Dominion Dilophosaurs on it then? Riddle me that, Batman. Moving on. So, this is what I really wanted to talk about. This is why I'm not looking forward too much to this movie. The freaking hybrids, or mutants. I'm taking like the Scarlet Witch approach to this. No more mutants, get rid of them. I'm tired of seeing them in dinosaur movies. The D-Rex. Okay, so this thing is like Rancor from Star Wars, the Xenomorph from Alien, and Tyrannosaurus Rex from the Jurassic Park franchise spliced together, and it looks like crap. I am tired of seeing these kinds of animals. They look ugly. I hate them. It's getting old. Come up with an original idea other than, uh-oh, we made a mistake. Here's this murderous animal. First of all, it paints carnivores in a really bad light, which I personally had a problem with pretty much ever since, Jurassic Park 3. It was around that time where I started realizing that every carnivore in every movie ever is all of a sudden the bad guy in every single sense. I mean, just look at Jaws, even Star Wars with the Rancor. I think there was a recent Lion movie that came out. Predators are not evil. They do what they do to survive. And they don't kill senselessly. They kill to eat. Good grief, I sound like that one chick from Dinotopia. But this design is ugly. It's no. However, I have this theory that it's not gonna be in the movie too much. I have a feeling that it's gonna be there, but not as much as a specific raptor. And uh-oh, did I mess this up? I think I did. Whoops. So what we have here next to the oddly person-like shape, I only meant to put one circle in, don't know how I did that. I'm technologically illiterate, do excuse me. Let me take a sip from my Royal Crown Cola. Not sponsored, but if you'd like to. So let's look at this. So this is the raptor that was housed in a test tube. So well, not a test tube, an incubation chamber, I think is what it's called, or a cryo chamber. That's what I'm looking for, like Avatar. Ugh, bad movie. But for frick's sake, man, stop kicking the tripod. What you'll see around the completed yellow circle is what looks to be a protrusion, and it looks like it's possibly a second head. Now, my theory is that the D-Rex will take the form of the T-Rex, Rexy, from the first movie. And it will be there kind of like in the night, kind of like the breakout scene in Jurassic Park. And then it'll probably show up in the end to some degree. Maybe not like Rexy did in that movie, but it will definitely be there. The Velociraptor will probably be the main dinosaur villain of this story. But because we're doing mutant stuff now, that's probably what it's going to be, a mutant raptor. But what else is going to be in this? Well, we have a lot of options. So this is InGen's test site, kind of the dinosaurs that couldn't go in the park either because they weren't presentable or they were too dangerous got put here or just left here. Now, that tells me that there could be other things here. Maybe non-threatening things, but it would be interesting to see. And it'll be really cool is if they explain how the Dilophosaur got its frill or something like that. Because real life Dilophosaurs do not have that. They have the two crests, That's what the Dilophosaur means. It means like two-crested lizard, I think. But the frill did not exist. There's a lizard actually that looks like that, and I think that's where Steven Spielberg got his inspiration from. However, also don't judge me. I like RC Cola. It's much better than Coke and so much worse for you. But back to Jurassic Park. I think that would be cool, because not only would it kind of answer some questions about the Dilophosaurus, but it would also kind of, you know, kind of explain why some dinosaurs look so weird in an actual lore sense, and not just, oh, Steven Spielberg thought it was cool, so we did it. Might also explain why Quetzalcoatlus looks so differently, and why Mosasaur looks so differently. Maybe somehow they were able to splice in Monitor Lizard DNA with the Mosasaur DNA, and that's how you got a more paleo-accurate one, something like that. Oops, I almost hit the escape button. So, let's talk about the novel tie-ins, because they do exist. So, right here, hopefully my cursor shows up. Woo! You'll see the T-Rex in the river. More accurate, I think its head is just in the river, but it could be in the river. I don't know. Now, you'll see a nice yellow arrow tying into a 30th anniversary promotional thing from Jurassic Park, the novel. Now, in the novel, if you guys haven't read it, by the way, I highly recommend it. It's a really good book, and it's one of my favorites of all time. Very brutal, though, but very good. The survivors, Grant, Lex, and Tim, kind of get into a raft and think they're safe from the T-Rex. And then it just kind of creepily and eerily walks into the water and just starts swimming. And then it disappears under the surface, and it tries to shake them out of the boat. And I think that they're going to at least Easter egg to something like that, because the Rex is near a river, people are in that river, and for whatever reason, Tyrannosaurus goes for people a lot in this franchise. Why, I don't know. Because that would be way too much energy to be spent on something that can easily hide from a real T-Rex, but... However, another thing would be the raptor in the lab. Now, here we have the Jurassic Park Velociraptor kind of out, and I think that's the one from the cryo chamber that we saw. And it's walking around, and you can see two of the characters go, is that a raptor? Don't tell me that's a raptor. Sort of thing is, it's a raptor. So we're probably gonna have some form of lab scene where in the novel, the Grant and it might be Lex who's with him, are in a lab, and Grant has to kind of maneuver around these raptors. And you can see a picture here of what that most likely would have looked like in Michael Crichton's book. Obviously, it's not a picture book, so we don't, but that's pretty much what it would look like. And I think that these two are going to connect to some degree. There's going to be some form of Easter egg there, which would be really, really cool, and I really want that to happen because it would look nice. And it'll be a nice tie into the book. Now this is something I have not seen other people talk about. To be fair, I've only watched the Gaming Beaver's review on these sorts of things, and he's not the best at noticing things. But I don't know if Swerve have mentioned this, or if if Evil Square or Best in Slot or any of the other Jurassic like Clayton Fortna have mentioned this. I honestly don't know. However, I have not seen any images floating around, any thumbnails with this in the title. Well, I have, but it's mainly not them talking about this directly. So, what is this picture? Now, obviously, you can see this picture over here that I'm circling, and you probably have guessed that I already know what this is. You can actually see the full thing in promotional pictures, and I'll try and throw one up if I can find one, but I have seen it before. This is very clearly a megalodon jaw. You can tell because of the teeth and the way it's opening. It looks very similar, if not identical, to this jaw that I just quickly Google searched, the megalodon jaw. And this is one of the things that popped up, and it looked very similar. The teeth look very similar. It's not a mosasaur jaw. These are not mosasaur teeth. They're way too triangular. Mosasaur, I believe, had more conical shaped teeth. So I don't know. The Meg is definitely going to be referenced. Probably is just a background kind of, oh look, here's a megalodon jaw, because we're talking about prehistoric stuff, and Jurassic World already or the Universal already has a megalodon model. You can find that in a downloadable DLC from Jurassic World Evolution 2. And I'm feeling, at the very least, this is going to be an Easter egg. At the very most, we might get to see Megalodon in this movie. I would not hold your breath on that. But it is a possibility. Now, I want to go back up real quickly and talk about the Spinosaurus for a moment. In my original video, I said Spinosaurus will not be in this movie. Mainly because the Gaming Beaver made a very compelling argument, and I wanted to throw my 2 cents in, kind of backing that decision, because I still believe he is correct in that original assumption, and I still believe that I am correct about this. Now, why, Jurassic, would you say you're correct about this? Spinosaurus is already in the movie. We've seen it in the trailer, we've seen it in promotional videos, we've seen it in Legos and things like that. It's going to be in the movie. But is it? The Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus will not be in this movie. I am correct about that. That is the one I was referencing, because that was the only one in the franchise. So I win. Anyway, but this Spinosaur is very different from the one we saw on Sorna before, and then on Manticore Island. Like I said, I don't like the new Spinosaur design. I am obviously a fan of paleo-accurate dinosaurs, and I would like to see them more. Like, the Mosasaur is very nice. But I don't know how they managed to screw up a Spinosaur model this bad. But anyway, I'm kind of glad that the original Spinosaurus is not in this. I am even more disappointed with what I was correct. They did misuse Spinosaur. I was completely correct. First of all, Spinosaurus went from being the big bad of a movie to being a Mosasaurus wolf pack. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. To the point where people have already begun heckling this animal. I'll try and throw up some memes and things like that people have done. And I think they're hilarious because they're very accurate. It really is, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Oh, it's Scorpius Rex. It's in the background. Anyway. But I didn't touch that. But it is true to a degree. I was correct. They did disrespect Spinosaurus. I'm just glad they didn't disrespect the Spinosaurus. So you win some, you lose some, and Jurassic World will continuously screw us over with dinosaur designs. That is all I have for you guys today. Hopefully other videos will be coming out on this, because I did rather enjoy this. And I do look forward to seeing how this movie will play out. I'm still not excited for it, for the sole purpose of, I don't feel like it's Jurassic Park anymore. The sole purpose they're doing this for is because the other ones made money, because they're Jurassic films. People are gonna go see this. But Universal has this weird thing where they don't think that the movies will do well, so they put in a lot of like, oh, come see this, look at the D-Rex, and oh, Scarlett Johansson's in this movie, everybody knows her, right? And well, we gotta have the T-Rex in this, and oh look, Spinosaurus is back, look, the Dilophosaurus is here as well. Oh, what about, there could be a mutant raptor. They do stuff like that. But just like Dominion, where it was like, oh, Quetzalcoatlus, the Dilophosaurus is making a return, Giganotosaurus is here, ooh, we have Troceraptors, I wonder how that's gonna go, oh, dinosaurs are in our world. They focus too much on quantity of the dinosaurs in the scenes, or what dinosaurs were in the movie, and they didn't focus a whole hell of a lot on plot and storytelling. I have a feeling that this movie will be no different, which is very sad. I really desperately want to be proven wrong. I really do. But history has a tendency to repeat itself, my friends. And I see this as history repeating itself. Everybody got hyped for Fallen Kingdom. Everybody got hyped for Dominion. And now everybody's getting hyped for Rebirth. I have a feeling this community will get very disappointed very quickly. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, consider subscribing, leave a comment saying hi, or expressing your thoughts on the new Jurassic World Rebirth film, or, anything I may have asked you to comment in this video, as I have short-term memory, I swear, and I do not remember anything. Click the bell to get notifications on when the latest video comes out, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.